I'll have
I
it
wrote
come.
you a bunch of messages. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we are streaming live and we're taking care of technical duties. If you're watching us, we're having technical duties, but we are going to start kind of right now. Thank you for the previous readers. And we are now in the 1 o'clock slot of the Boston Poetry Marathon, which is online, obviously. If you don't know where to go, we've got a YouTube channel and all that stuff that I'm the host. I can't do text and stuff. Okay. All I have to do is actually introduce everybody. So we have in this hour, excuse me while I look at my spreadsheet, David Kirschenbaum, Jack Jower, Emily Dickinson cannot be here today, but Ann Wallace, Angelo D'Amato, if they're here in the queue, Stephen Reel, Mid Walsh, Tom Laughlin, Chuck Stapleton, and Kim Lyons we're waiting for, but hopefully she'll jump in. And starting us off is going to be David Kirschenbaum.
Hello, hello.
Yay.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. My mom died just about a year ago this past week. So I thought I'd read a couple of things for her. This is from October 2nd. My father came to my mother's tenement apartment for their first date. Her mother let him in and he went into the living room to say the evening's prayers with her father. Her mother, seeing this, told her, Esta hombre es para ti. This man is for you. And my mom was in the hospital maybe 20 years ago. I wrote a poem a day to her, try and get her to feel a little bit better. So this is March 18th, 2004. Dear Mom, you've been writing thank you notes to your hospital visitors on sunflower note cards. This one came to my mailbox today. Dear David, it is so great having a son like you. It makes me happy, knowing I can depend on you when things aren't going well. You made Daddy happy having him stay with you. It made him feel important, especially when he was very nervous about me. Thank you for visiting every day and getting me all those special goodies, chicken soup, lox and bialys, and fruit. You knew just what I needed. I love you and always will. You make me proud every day. I hope and pray you find someone to share your life with. You're kind and generous and would make someone very happy. Stay as great as you are. I love you always and always, Mommy. All right, there you go. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, David. Yes, the special goodies from Mom. Yeah. Well, I don't want to get sad about this thing because it's poetry. So the next up is Jack Jower. Is Jack here?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
Yep, Jack is here. So before I read, I have to say thank you so, so much to the hosts of the Boston Poetry Marathon who sent me an invite to this about a week ago, and which I thankfully found in my spam folder at like 5 o'clock last night. So I sent them a frantic email saying, "Oh my God, are there any more spaces left?" And they graciously scooted me in to this time slot. So I'm happy to be here, and this is my first ever Boston Poetry Marathon. So I'm loving it. I'm basking in the poetry glow. So I'm gonna, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start reading. This one is called Guide for Breathing. The trees exhale their oxygen breath at night, while the calculators are deciding who rules the world. Expand your stainless lungs. Strap on your medical grade breathing mask and inhale and inhale and inhale until there is nothing left but kindling. That's one. And that's my time. This one is called Family Happiness. Covered in invisible lines of dream linen, I find myself dreaming down Porter Street, down the two red bulging out migraine dream line. Memory rises from my old clothes and books, from its own bigness. Happiness is a monster sitting in the air around us, and we all know his orbit. Over a turntable, I see my sister's 9-year-old face shining out from the old pictures. We never spoke. My grandfather never spoke. How could he? No talk ever makes it hard to hear the silence. And that's that one. And okay, this one is called Elegy. This has 2 epigraphs, not epitaphs, from Emily Wilson's translation of the Iliad, which is wonderful. If you'd like to check it out. But so the 2 epigraphs are from that. First is from her introduction to the Iliad, and it reads, readers have assumed that Achilles and Patroclus were lovers, though the Iliad itself does not say so. So then the second epigraph is from the text of the Iliad itself. This is from book 18. Lord Achilles, groaning, answered, my friend Patroclus, whom I loved, is dead. I loved him more than any other comrade. I loved him like my head, my life, myself. I lost him. So this is he had dreams of making music. He remembers on Sunday he dreamed about a tree, how it looked at him. He dreamed about figs and the wasp which looked out from their inner sweetness. Troy was a shadow, not on any of his brain scans. His perisylvian pathways choked by microscopic mercurial lesions made from memories good and painful, made from the shrapnel in his spine, from the 5th glass of wine, made of every overtime night shift, of unexpected useful facts and unprotected intimacy. These have fostered a death, a body pathologic, a loss, Patroclus, private and trauma-induced loss of you, sweet you. Okay, and I think I have time for one more. So this one is called Poker Face, and this was very recently published in Albatross magazine, which is a local area publication run by Richard Smith. And I would encourage all to check them out because they always do good stuff. So this is called Poker Face. We are supposed to look into the amber glass and see the other, and we do, and it's terrible. I laugh when you are upset, then quiet, then both of us take another sip. Love just isn't for us, and in between beers, it's most obvious. Tomorrow will be longer than today. The glorious veins in your eyes and in your brain will ripen and redden and swell. You'll sob all morning and gnaw on ibuprofen, and I'll simply disappear, then be full again and much shinier. Tonight I've been shrinking, and you notice but never point it out. You just smirk and say thanks for having no backbone and open another. How did we get like this? We were supposed to howl with the moon, full of amber foam and amber glass, but instead we just shake at each other, jealous in the glare of the other's happiness. You're always squeezing the cuts and sore spots, thirsting for something to drink, for something to suck. You kiss me, enemy me, divine me, baby me, and I just keep my dying to myself. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Yes, I'm glad you checked your spam, which out there in TV land, I hope you check your spam because that may be where your invites or your Zooms or whatever is in order. Because we wanted everyone who wanted to read, and hopefully that'll be the case today. So next up, we have not Emily Dickinson. We have to skip her, unfortunately, and we're going to Anne Wallace. Sarah.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Good.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really thrilled. This is my first Boston Poetry Marathon. I grew up in Massachusetts, but I live in New Jersey. I'm the Poet Laureate of Jersey City, New Jersey. And I'm going to read some poems from my new collection, Days of Grace and Silence, a chronicle of COVID's long haul. The first poem I'll read is called Passages. It's been decades since my body held a narrative clear and simple. It turned to poetry long ago when a refrain emerged, was repeated with life interrupted once, then again and again. A poem always begins in the middle or someplace nearby because truly, have you ever tried telling a poet to begin at the beginning? When my doctors ask me or my daughters how our illnesses began, oh, the poems we compose on paper-lined examination tables, each one of us a stanza braided to the other, with no beginning and no end. The poet in me dares not ask if we are always meddling around in the endless looping middle of this story, how might we ever write our way out? I wrote that one in spring 2023 when I had been sick with COVID and long COVID for 3 years, and both of my daughters also are long haulers. So this collection takes you through that story. But I want to move to a different kind of poem that's in this collection, and it's called Unfurling. And I'm picking this one today because right now I'm in Cape May, New Jersey, which is at the very southern tip of New Jersey. And I'm here with the Native Plant Society of New Jersey because it is migration season for birds and for monarch butterflies. And I was just at a session this morning where they were adhering sensors to monarch butterflies so they can monitor them and track them, which is fascinating. So I'm going to read a butterfly poem. And I wanted to mention I host a podcast called The Wild Story, a podcast of poetry and plants for the Native Plant Society of New Jersey. So please do check that out. But this poem I'm reading in honor of the butterflies. It's called The Empty Casing. Imagine this. If you have planters of parsley or dill growing outside in a sunny spot, odds are good that you have tossed butterfly eggs onto your pasta with the garnish or mixed them into your salad. Just imagine. Have you ever seen the egg of a butterfly? Before caterpillar, before chrysalis? The minuscule sphere, a perfect glassy orb deposited by swallowtail or monarch or fritillary, and perched so delicately on a leaf or the whisper-thin stem of your garden herbs. I saw my first last summer. I watched as the brilliant swallowtail she visited daily for a spell found my bed of parsley. I searched for a week, leaf by leaf, until I spotted it. One perfect egg. How small, how fragile, how large my hands, my garden shears. The egg stood such small chance against a quick snip at mealtime, small chance against hot sun that can wither a wispy herb into the parched earth over a few dry days of drought. It is truly a wonder we have any butterflies at all. But my patio egg, it defied the odds. It hatched under my protective gaze, grew fat off the parsley I did not eat, spun a home around itself. I watched and waited as it grew strong. Then one morning I found the empty dry casing still stuck to the side of my clay planter. The butterfly, it was gone, flown away into its new life. And I'm going to end with the last poem in this collection, which is called The Infinity of Hope. We talk a lot about the little things, the ripple of a stone on the glassy surface of a lake, circles pushing out and out and out until they join other circles and waves, each a disruption that begins with the weight of an object thrown, or a body, say, of a dragonfly landed where before there was none. We talk a lot about the little things, the small decisions or delays that mean you and not me, or me and not you is in the wrong or the right place at the wrong or the right time. We used to call it chaos theory, the way one small action here has grand potential to impact you wherever, whoever you may be. Sometimes the ripples, they are devastating. The wave of one airborne particle heading toward me and mine. The way we might think an action is harmless because we do not think to look where the stone lands, where the ripple travels, because we are so mesmerized by the rings expanding with perfection upon the smooth water. But other times, the impact of the small things, it is beautiful, a kindness or surprise that spreads like a ripple into a smile, a day set into motion, expansive, unknowable, with potential that is infinite. So tell me, what small ripples will you release into the world today on faith that you may not see what stuck things they loosen? Thank you so much. These poems were from my collection Days of Grace and Silence from Kelsey Books. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anne. Thanks for reading. And feel free to put a comment in our chat for your podcast or even on the Facebook page if you feel like it. Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
if you want to promote yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. I don't see Angelo in our queue. So if they don't speak up now, the next person we are going to is Stephen Reel. Are they here? They were here. Yes, Stephen.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you to the stalwart organizers of this event. Once again, I'm going to read two poems. The first one is from my book, Fellow Oddfellow, and it's called The Teacup I Desire. Let me put on my reading glasses. The teacup I desire. The pattern of teacup I desire depicts bouquets of mauve roses tied together by just picked violets. Once tea's poured out, a sipping striptease could reveal thorn by thorn as Earl Grey eases down the length of stem, at last unveiling unopened buds, their inviting scents glazed beneath sugar sediments. To lift this flowery vessel in my hands, to walk it to the cashier, and blushing or not to state, I'd like this, would draw a noticeable dot out where it could be connected. If I begin to collect teacups, not to mention matching tea trays, sugar bowls, creamers, ownership might imply the swan-like curve in this cup's handle replicates a sway in my soul. How I'd arch my arms out of a thin sweater if I were a starlet at some Hollywood supper. But naturally, the indelible dots would have proliferated by then. Cups and cups and cups worth. Upside down tulip skirts fit for Marie Antoinette and moi. Angle-handled Art Decos in lozenge-like crackle, leaning forward to chat at a cafe. Might this step towards one schoolmarmish cup unlatch all the knickknacks that polka dot my mind? Salt and pepper sets of every bent and hue, dishing each other across whatnot shelves, lining stairs that spiral turret high in my dreams. Grasshopper motif bric-a-brac, amber brooches, blue Nancy Drews, buttons like peppermints, scroll-handled keys. An obedient boy, forbidden his own stuffed animal, sits on the edge of his sister's bed when he finds himself alone. Eventually, his sweaty palm pets not the velvet, but the shadow of her dog. Yes, honeybee heads for the rose it wants, shoves proboscis into clenched blossoms, rubs hairy forelegs into pollen to pack its perfect honeycomb. The gold splash on my teacup's handle mirrors me back as a small dot that's now part of its pattern. This next poem is shorter, and the first sentence is the epigraph, and then the poem flows from there. It's called Lie Can't Die. You said, I can't believe I'm going to die. And I could only reply with a white lie. I only can't die, you said. I can't only die. And I, going to reply, believe only white, I said. I only said, You I could believe, you said. Only I believe I'm going. White can't reply. Lie going white. I can't believe I said going. You said white, white, white. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, that was very nice. Yes. So I don't see a mid-Walsh lining up, so we're going to have to go ahead to the next person, which is Tom Laughlin. Tom, are you ready?
I am. Thanks, Christina. And thank you to Chad and the other Christina Liu for organizing. It's great to be part of this rich day of Boston poetry. My first poem is in response to a painting by Matt Carano, a Somerville artist. Last year, Boston poet Wendy Drexler and Cambridge visual artist Connie Sames conceived of a project involving collaborations between pairs of poets and visual artists. And over the past several months, I've been collaborating with Matt. I've been writing ekphrastic poems in response to his paintings, and he has been creating paintings in responses to poems of mine. And here is a digital image, hoping you can see that, of one of his paintings. My poem in response to this painting is called Blue-Green Fog. Blue-green fog. Drifting beyond horizon's edge into the blue-green fog of tomorrow, my red speck of boat is mere memory now in an ocean sky without end. Motor shot, oars cracked, broken, current and winds whisper nearly imperceptibly along the gunnels. Dreaming beyond fog of some grip of land or sand beach, I spy a startle of rocky cliffs, sandstone and shale rising up to menace and hint at jagged unseens below the shrinking nautical mile. No sign of trees, vegetation, fresh water, or habitation. Dangling beyond words or dock lines to the familiar, I listen for songs from the depths through my hull. Cast some redness on the ocean sky and feel for returning ripples. Watch for gull and albatross and wait for what will come. This next poem was just published this week in the September issue of Hare's Paw Literary Journal, edited by Olivia Tomes. It's written in response to a short film called Big Time that got me thinking about the slipperiness of perception. And it's part of a project I envisioned of reseeing and revising the poem every 10 years. At this point, there are 3 poems in the series. Big Time, number 1. A man walks by a dog. We see the dog, but not the man. It's raining, or there's water coming down, or there isn't. It doesn't matter. What is it that I don't want to see? I'm coming out of the shower and I can't dry off fast enough. We've had this dream before, empty alley, open hand, no lilacs laying back against breezes. Where is the cathedral window that stretches to ceiling, holding back cold, holding dust and streaks of blinding white that can't be held back, that drive through hard? Or no, it's a boathouse, a crew house, and reaching glass doors open for yellow beanie caps and shirts that carry boats out. The wind comes in summer and easy like, just tickling the corner where shiny wooden floor almost doesn't. Dust almost not moving slightly. This is the room where she stands before the large glass doorway, hands holding the thick pane behind her, hair looking beyond him and his 5-day artist's stubble, realizing it is him that doesn't see her. Where's the boat and the man slicing smoothly through morning reflections? Put another magnet on the refrigerator is what I want to say, but don't. It's this thing that we want but can't have. It's a man and a dog. In Japan and Korea, the term skinship was coined to name that importance of physical touch between baby and parent. And over time, that term has been expanded to the importance of physical touch throughout our lives. This last poem is called Skinship for D. Beacon Street made way for us, walking this evening to the bookstore. Inside, we take our seats in the crowd, spaced for social distance. The venerable poet steps to the podium. Her new poems grab and weave through Paris streets into smoky Beirut cafes of exiles and refugees, past shawarma, Givambert, cups of Halib Mahal. But the after warmth of you is fading. My hand wants your fingers, the warmth of your lower back curving against me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That was kind of interesting concept to go back to poems 10 years or previous. Yeah. Thank you for reading. We have a few more poets up left. Next person we have up is Chuck Stebleton. Yep.
Hi. Greetings from Milwaukee. These first two poems are of a piece, and avocets are like this elegant shorebird that show up here maybe once a year. In case you don't recognize that. Easterly. Across the river, the winter wren, easterly. Westerly, golden-crowned kinglet singing, he is Riz. Westerly. Avocets huddled tight, all facing the wind, their upturned bills, their slender blue legs, their cottonseed eyes squint shut from below, all face the sand that blows straight at them. Then the front three pairs peel off to the rear of the huddle. The huddle shifts perceptibly south, then all march forward the distance of a pair. Their tanned, rusted chests, sandblasted white. A westerly flushes them on their annual overnight. It was actually a photographer that flushed them, but that sounded kind of pissy. And this next poem, Fifth Season, is it appears in Maureen Owen's new magazine, Jula Board, and it mentions the poet Antler. Fifth Season. In the mercurial sliver between seasons, a hot winter, a late spring, a silver middle in between. The May-apples hover low, the wild leeks remain, a shadow slides, illuminate. I know a man who goes by the singular name Antler. He recites a canon from memory. His blessings vibrate like Caspian terns, a sound that recurs every spring for millennia. One year it slips north and never occurs again. Antler, what is the bird in Whitman's elegy? The hermit thrush, whose fluting song we only know from hearsay? And this next is a travel poem. Itinerary Ink. Hard presences hardened, soft presence hardened, a continuous occupation, a presence on which hills, homes, persons renew as soft presences, hardly presentable. The roof, the teeth, the turrets, the tongue, an alloy, and it's Easter time too. Where these songs, familiar from the start, find their eternity, the ellipses are Lorca's own. The best geriatric marigold pension. I'd rather be a sparrow than a snail. Hard-ass Bulls jersey at the consulate. I'd rather be a hammer than a nail. And the Andean flute band plays every destination. I'd rather be a forest than a street. I'd rather feel the earth beneath my feet. Blackbird in the cyclamen gives the world its saddest sound, its saddest sound. Itinerary ink smudges easily. And this final poem is titled Lemon Balm, and it takes its title from the current gallery exhibition at Woodland Pattern. Lemon Balm. Lone blue-headed vireo, solitary spice bush swallowtail. Melissa plants lemon balm. The late singers gather thistle, goldenrod seeds. Their lacquered refrain, a palpable middle meander. After a voice violates our window, after the voice darkens our door, we sleep close in the middle of the floor. After the voice at the window, a face on the radio. Moss and thistle, an actionable pain scale. Fields parcel fences. The room divides the wall provides the border. A wallpaper border, a lemon balm. A form of thirds, the system that is frost, 1 part water, equal parts silver, 1 part oxygen, equal parts silence. How to comprehend this momentary comfort of disappearing into language, a language we do not speak. Waxwing, timber, inaudible at a distance. Waxwing, silhouette, imperceptibly near. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, Chuck. Yeah, feel free to put the journal in the chat and then also on the Facebook. So promote yourself, and then we get to read people's work also. So don't see anyone we're missing in our queue. So unfortunately, we'll have to just kind of wrap that up. But thank you to our readers in this 1 o'clock hour: David Kirschenbaum, Jack Jower, Ann Wallace, Stephen Reel, Tom Laughlin, and Chuck Stapleton. And if you want to read, and yeah, you still want to read, there are still spots if you go to the schedule part, and anytime you see Emily Dickinson, that is a spot open because I heard that she is not living anymore. So those are spots open. If you could email us, because that'd be the best way, at thebostonpoetrymarathon@gmail.com. Email us and one of us will get back to you about scheduling. And if we missed you, that's too bad. Too bad for that. I think I got done with any kind of business stuff on the hand. So we are heading into the 2 o'clock hour. And those folks happen to be, and hopefully all of them, Joy Ladin, Dennis Nertzky, Gail Bachelor. God, I'm butchering her name is what I'm doing. I'm very sorry. Doug Holder, Max Heinig, Shira Dentz, Gilbert Tamney, Jennifer Firestone, and Ruth Lepson and Sam Chaw. So that is in the 2 o'clock hour. And thank you all, everyone, for reading. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the 2 o'clock hour.
Thanks, Chuck.